I'd love to start by just giving you the floor for a minute to go through your background. It's so impressive.
Wait a minute, before we get started, I've got a special
Uh-oh.
thing today. I want to show y'all. I wore my Marine shirt for everybody. All right.
Very nice. Very
All
nice.
right.
Hoorah. Well, first of all, thanks for the invitation to do this. I really appreciate it. I've been looking forward to it for ever since Dave suggested it. So thanks again. And I'm Steve Lepper. I'm the president and CEO of the Association of Military Banks of America. I've been with the organization now for a little over 9 years, and I came to it after a 35-year career in the Air Force, where I served as a judge advocate, primarily a military lawyer, culminating in my service as the Deputy Judge Advocate General of the Air Force, from which I retired in 2014. And so basically, when I joined AMBA, I did it because I felt I could give back to the men and women I left behind, the men and women I served with as they transitioned into veteran status. And, basically my vision at the time I took the job was to try to focus our member banks on how they can more effectively serve and support through the programs and services they provide our military and veteran communities. And I think we've had a fair amount of success in doing that.
You bet.
I'll tell you what, man, no
Real
doubt
quick.
on the Association of Military Banks, fantastic job. Hats off to you there. I think if I had a complaint, not that I want to be a complaining guy, but when you get right down to it, I just always feel like if you've ever raised your hand and said up to and including your life and handed it over, there's a debt of gratitude that are owed to these people, particularly those that have suffered and earned. I always say this to people: we may enjoy rights, but we damn sure didn't earn them. There are people out there that did, and you certainly should take your hat off to them. No matter what you feel about this country, you have rights because they earned them for you. That said, banks and credit unions that are out there that ought to be involved at a lot higher level rate, than we have right now. And to me, it's just I guess a dichotomy of thought of to what in the world are we missing here? And that's where you come in, is to be able to connect the dots for people to see how we can actually do good and at the same time benefit from it ourselves.
Yeah. Just a little bit about AMBA to your point, Dave. We were started 65 years ago, back in 1959, by a group of bankers who operated branches on military bases. And at that time and since then, they needed a voice, particularly as they tried to negotiate the bureaucracy around the Department of Defense and the military services. Operating a branch on a military installation comes with a lot of responsibilities that banks aren't typically used to dealing with. And so what my organization was created to do, and we still do today, is to help them navigate that relationship between themselves and DoD and the military services so that they can provide the best service possible to the folks stationed at the installation they serve.
You bet.
Yeah, I think it's cool too to note that, when we talk about vets, maybe since World War II, there's probably never been a greater number of veterans out there than there is today. And the line that really grabbed me that you mentioned is that, in the banking community, we're all part of the veteran community. And if bankers really were to canvass the men and women at their banks and find out how many are veterans, and they literally haven't served.
You bet.
Yeah, you don't have to serve, like you said, Dave, earlier, you don't have to serve to appreciate those who do. And again, what we try to do is even with banks that aren't on military installations, and most of our member banks now are banks that don't have branches on bases. They simply joined our organization because they know they've got veterans in their community and they want to figure out ways to help serve them the most effective way possible. And those strategies are things that we try to help them come up with, or we provide to them so that they can connect more effectively with their military and veteran communities. You know, a lot of people don't know this, but the Community Reinvestment Act has a provision in it defining military banks. And you know, most people who deal with the CRA don't get that deep into it to understand that way back in the mid 70s, when CRA was passed by Congress, they saw fit to define banks that have a preponderance of military customers as military banks, and um, their entire assessment area is the world, because that's where our troops are assigned. And so if you have a preponderance of your customers that are in the military, you can qualify for that, you know, designation of military bank. And when your examiners come to see you, you can say, hey, my entire customer base is my assessment area. You know, grade me on how I'm dealing with them, on how I'm serving them.
Really well
Excellent.
said. One of the things I've thought a lot about, guys, and I think you touched on it a little bit, but there's so many parts and pieces and topics that are so relevant today. We keep talking about the, let's call it community banks, and then how do we define community? And traditionally that's been geographic, right? And I think to your point, we've got all these different communities of people. Every bank has these different communities, and same with credit unions and areas of focus. And I think to your point, if we're just focused on, as a bank, looking at our whole and working for everybody, we're really serving no one particularly well. And I think we're seeing that fracturing. That's a real positive thing that we're seeing, you know, as we move forward. People are getting super focused on specific communities that they serve, and I think it's a real positive. And I really like, obviously you've come across that same theme a time or two, and have put some thought to it and are doing some good. I think it's great.
Yeah, and this
Well,
is so neat, you know, because we basically, we talk to bankers all the time about, you know, it's not about geography like it once was. It's more about, you know, serving the needs of the people that you can, right? And because of the rule changes and things that have been put in place, particularly from your organization, it's allowed everybody to really participate. And I don't think the word is out there yet that banks and credit unions have realized that, you know, so I can be a part of this and actually serve my veterans in a better way. And how the Veteran, you know, Banking Benefit Program, the VBBP, actually helps vets get their benefits. There's other neat things out there. We've got homeless vets, and everybody talks about that. Well, what the hell are we doing to actually get them off the street and keep them off the street through financial education? What about VetSense and other programs that are put together? The first thing I want to tell everybody is, man, it is super easy to become a member of this VBBP program, and it does so much good. And I want you to, if you don't mind, just, you know, take a second and kind of talk about, you know, VetSense and the education and the financial learning and things that you guys provide for veterans with all these services that you do.
sure, happy to. So let me give you a little historical context. The Veterans Benefits Banking Program is AMBA's partnership with the Department of Veterans Affairs, and it started back in 2019 when the VA came to us and said, "Hey, you know, we need some help trying to get underbanked and unbanked veterans to open bank accounts so that we can directly deposit their VA benefits to those banks." Or credit unions. And so the problem that they were wrestling with at the time was that so many veterans were getting their monetary benefits via paper check mailed to their mailbox, or on prepaid debit cards issued by the, you know, through the Treasury's Direct Express debit card program. And both of those forms of payment have had significant problems associated with them. You know, I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to know that you can get mail stolen out of your mailbox. And if a veteran's check is stolen out of his or her mailbox, that's a month's worth of benefits gone, that he or she has to try to replace. Same was true for the Direct Express debit card program. There was a lot of fraud, a lot of theft associated with those cards. Veterans would spend hours on the phone trying to connect with a human being to report the theft of their benefits from the card. And as a result of the complaints that were filed with the VA over both those programs, the VA reached out to us as a bank trade association that was familiar with banking, military, and veteran communities and said, look, we need some help. Can you put together a program that would bring banks and credit unions to veterans so that we could then meet you halfway and bring veterans to you. So
Right.
what we did was we created what is today a financial institution marketplace online, www.veteransbenefitsbanking, all one word, veteransbenefitsbanking.org. And if you go to our website, you'll see over 100 banks and credit unions that have joined us to provide banking services to underbanked and unbanked veterans. And Dave, you started by talking about how low the bar for joining this program is. It really is very low. All we ask for a bank or credit union to do is to make two commitments. One commitment is to provide a free or very low cost checking account with no minimum balance requirements to any veteran who brings their VA direct deposit to the bank or credit union. And then the second obligation, which frankly I think is the most important one, is that if a veteran comes to your bank or credit union, you commit to eliminating whatever obstacle may have existed, preventing that veteran from opening a bank account sooner. And that could be something like being homeless and not having a physical address, which of course is required to open a bank account. It could be that they had a bad experience with a bank or credit union in the past and they're just reluctant to open the account. It may be that they had bad credit and they were booted out of the last bank they were part of, in which case, the bank or credit union could give them a second chance account or something like that. Bottom line is, there's no monetary cost to a bank or credit union to join our program. And what we will do, assuming that they, make those two commitments to us, is we will have veterans who come to our website, which frankly, we get 1,500 to 2,500 visitors a week to our website. And most of them come from va.gov because va.gov is connected to our website and va.gov pushes
Right.
unbanked veterans to us. And we will put your logo, we'll put a description of your bank, we'll tell veterans who visit our website where you have branches, whether you have a digital platform, and we will try to sort of broker the connection between you and the veterans who might want to bank with you. It's a
Well, this
simple
is huge.
that.
This is really, really important. I think I didn't know this. So, hey, bankers out there, we've got to have an address for this homeless veteran. You can use the local, VA office. There's all kinds of new ways that we can do this now to solve that particular fix. And if you were a veteran or are a veteran, I really want you to catch this. You know as good as I do that most vets out there are not bums. They're good guys. They're people that care. And the ones that are usually have a damn good reason to be so. And so you've got the obligation to those that are less fortunate. And you've also got the obligation to stand up for those that did take that oath, that are good people, that are good, and they don't know that, oh, wow, I can tie these things together and I can get some really neat things and educational opportunities. And we also know a pretty tight community, man. I mean, hey, you go to the Elks or you go to the VFW and you hang out and small towns all over the country. And it's like, hey, did you know that we can do this thing through our bank now that ties us in? We get this veteran education, word of mouth, let this thing go. And again, if you're a vet, you know the importance of this, and it's just not out there. Everybody goes to your bank. How many of them are veterans? I bet you don't know. And the opportunity for us to serve at a higher level, bankers helping bankers, is going to be neck deep involved in this going forward. We've reached out to tunnels of towers. We've talked to everybody. We believe in this like no other. And there's another thing that you've done that is so cool, is connect a way through a Patriot card. What a great name, a Patriot card, right? but a way that they can take their direct express benefits straight to a Patriot card as an account. And any bank can offer that to their veterans.
Yeah, I'm glad you raised that. When we started this program back in 2019, frankly, we didn't know everything we needed to about how veterans manage their money, or in some cases don't. And so as we learned, we improved the program. For example, you mentioned homeless veterans. Because homeless veterans are a problem that this country really needs to deal with, and because our regulations prohibit anyone who doesn't have a physical address from opening a bank account, we got the FDIC, the OCC, and the Federal Reserve to agree to allow banks and credit unions to use the local VA address that might be associated with that veteran as the physical address to open up a bank account. It could be a caregiver address. It could be the VA caseworker address. It could be the local VA clinic that the veteran visits for healthcare. As long as it's a physical address associated with the VA, associated with the veteran, they can use that address. The Patriot card came out as a result of some more things we learned about veterans when we started the program, which is there are a lot of veterans who, no matter how you try to encourage them to open up a bank or credit union account, don't want to go there. They, for one reason or another, they simply do not want to open up a bank or credit union account. Well, that decision leaves them vulnerable to the problems that I talked about with the Direct Express card or with paper checks. And so we teamed up with Mocha Financial there in Bastrop, Texas, to create what we call a Patriot card, which is a prepaid debit card. But it was designed with veterans in mind because the problems that the veterans were reporting to the VA about the Direct Express card had to do with the lack of security features on the Direct Express card. Well, we built this Patriot card with more security features than I think exist in any other financial product. You can control the card for geography, meaning you can control it so that it can only be used within 50 miles of your house or whatever. I mean, you set the limits. You can control it for time of day. So if you don't want it used past 10 p.m., you just say, I want my card turned off at 10 p.m. and that'll do it. You can limit the merchants that it can be used at. So let's say you've got a caregiver that you want to give this debit card to buy things on your behalf. Well, you don't want that caregiver to go to a liquor store or some other place.
Right.
You want them to use it at a grocery store. You can limit the use of that card to the grocery store. And there are a number of other ways that you can control the card. Bottom line is, what we did was we built features in that eliminated the security problems that exist with most other debit cards. And so what I like to do is call it a smart debit card. Of course, the implication is that all other debit cards are dumb, but quite frankly,
They are.
Well said. I love it.
General Lepper, can any bank get this Patriot card?
Yeah, again, we work with Mocha Financial, and what we've done is, just as we've tried to get as many banks and credit unions to participate in the financial institution marketplace part of the Veterans Benefits Banking Program, we encourage banks and credit unions that want to participate in our Patriot Card program to let us know, and we can have conversations with them about how they can participate. And they can participate in any of three ways. One is they can help us market it. They've got veterans in their community. Even if they don't issue the card, they can help us market it to those folks who can then connect it to a bank account at their bank. So it's sort of a bring your own debit card solution for a bank that doesn't necessarily want to issue the card themselves. They can issue the card themselves to their veterans or anybody else. We're not limiting the access to this card to just veterans. We think it's useful for lots of other populations. Or third, they can, they don't have to issue the card, they don't have to market the card necessarily, but they can become a custodial bank. They can actually maintain the funds that are on the card, and insure them. Uh, in, sorry about that, and insure them to the limit of FDIC insurance. So
That's great.
all of those three ways they can participate in the program.
Well, General Leverage has thought so many problems through, and what you guys are doing there. I mean, you've literally experienced so many of these issues, and then checkbox the problems and made it simple for everybody to participate. So let's get weird for a minute and get into the technology side of this. And Tanner, I got a question. I mean, you start trying to set up things like this, and I think there's a badge that you can even put onto your website to let veterans know that you have these additional services, especially for veterans. Now, those types of things where you're doing what we call backlinks. So just think about this. How many people hit the VA website? And how many go to your website? And then you link that to this bank's website. Tanner, does that do anything for the traffic or the power of that bank's website?
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of good there, right? Getting everything used to, especially years ago, you'd link as many as you could together, right? And different brands and pieces. And I mean, those things still hold true today. I think also, man, as you think about what we call direct banks or digital only brands, we've seen lots of those. There's Redneck Bank. You had Bank Mobile, which was after college students, right? We've seen tons of these. Patriot Card is a good theme there. The difference is it's not stuck to one bank. I think that's so brilliant. It's like anybody else out there can go and pick this up and use it for their own veterans. It's like it's your own little fintech in a box, right? That does nothing but benefit everybody involved. I think that theme is something that should extend to more and more groups, right? I love that it starts with veterans, I won't lie, right? I think that is such a good, I mean, the veterans get to win one and also this is the innovative side of building cool new technology and for a damn good group. Hell yeah. But I think that should extend out to other people, right? And other different groups and how a community bank should think about serving specific communities within their community. And I love the card side of this. And obviously I'm a massive fan of Mocha and worked with them for years and years. I think it's just a really good job, but it feels to me like a glimpse into the future a little bit. This is how things will look. I think everybody should have a lot of pride in that. Everybody's done a good job.
Yeah, Tanner, you mentioned veterans and the Patriot Card and FinTech. We built the Patriot Card for veterans, but truth is most of the folks who get their government benefits on the Treasury's Direct Express debit card are Social Security recipients. There are over 3.5 million Social Security recipients out there that are getting their Social Security via that debit card, and they're facing the same kinds of problems that veterans do. So, that's another community out there that experiences the same kind of vulnerabilities that the veterans do. And frankly, the things that we've built for veterans could easily be tailored to the needs of that community.
You bet.
So the same people can move to their, let's say, direct deposit off the Express program onto the Patriot Card. It doesn't have to be a veteran.
Yeah, I mean, we built the card to allow direct deposit. Each card it's a unique debit card because it's got a routing transit number and an account number on it. So it is a bank account.
Huh.
It's a bank account for all intents and purposes. You can use it for bill pay. You can use it as a normal debit card. Either way, the beauty of having the RTN and the account number is that the government can direct deposit your benefits directly on the Patriot Card.
Right. I've always loved the concept of, and if you, to your point of dumb debit card, we can call it a card just so we all understand what we're talking about, but it's a digital account, right? And we don't use words like check anymore, finally, how long have we all talked about this? It's a really good thing. I think also just something I wanted to mention, as you think about these specific groups, right? And I think the elder side and the Social Security side was important. If you don't currently have a grandmother you once did, right? And same thing with a veteran in your family, I'm sure you once did, right? And I think for our banks and credit unions to step up and help those groups, and I know that they all have a willingness to, there's something good there. It is the truest sense of community to serve those groups because it relates. I promise you have my vote at that point, right? And probably yours and probably yours. And that's the kind of thing that brings communities together, right? Is taking care of people. And you hit on some damn good groups there. You can probably tell with both of us we're big fans of these people too. So thank you.
Well, one of the things I think is really cool here when you talk about the bank can become an issuing bank. Well, all of a sudden you're getting interchange at a prepaid level. That's a hell of a lot of money that would come into your bank. So really, when you put this thing in a nutshell, I can make money, I can serve my veteran community, which we're all part of the veteran community, whether you like it or not. I can also help the elders. There's a lot of neat things here, and I can protect people. VetSense, talk to me about VetSense.
Sure. VetSense, again, is another technology solution. In this particular case, it's a solution for financial education. We teamed up with a company called Lifesense that basically built us a portal that every individual who goes through the front door can tailor their own experience. You know, most financial education websites are just a library of stuff, and you need to know what you need to look for in order to get what you need from those websites. Well, the VetSense platform is different in that when you come through the front door, it'll welcome you and it'll ask you some very basic questions about your about why you're there. You know, what issues can we help you with? And as you answer these questions, it'll basically put you on a road within the platform that will give you access to what you need. It won't give you stuff you don't need. You don't have to sort through the chaff to get to the wheat. You go to the resources that will help you with whatever problem you're seeking a solution for. And the LifeSense folks tell us, because we don't have the experience in knowing whether a platform like that is successful or not. We don't understand the metrics, but what they're telling us is that the metrics are awesome. People who go through this portal, they have a higher engagement rate than any other websites they're familiar with. So when a veteran, or quite frankly, anyone else who goes through this portal through our VBBP website, veteransbenefitsbanking.org, hits VetSense, I guess you measure metrics by numbers of clicks. Well, people who go through the door keep clicking, keep going down that road. And one of the things, you know, the other pillar of VBBP, we talked about financial institution marketplace and VetSense. For those folks who, you know, come to our website and they need more than just a bank or credit union, and they need more than just financial education resources, they actually need somebody to help them figure out a solution to a big problem. We've got financial and credit counseling available for veterans. We are offering any veteran who needs it a free session with a financial counselor, an accredited financial counselor, AFC, through our friends at AFCPE, and through our friends at NFCC. We are offering credit counseling, one-on-one. And the feedback we've gotten from veterans who've taken advantage of that program has just been eye-watering. I mean, literally eye-watering.
Eye-watering, what a great line. Man, I gotta tell you, when we talk about just veteran health in general, I get a little choked up. Financial health, mental health, all of this is available. And everybody knows the closer you get to the government, the more friggin' complicated everything gets. This is a military organization set up with so many services and so many neat things that you can do right from your bank. And we can help you get there. So if you want to go to bankershelpingbankers.com, hit it, you know, send us an email. We'll do the heavy lift for you. We'll show you how to get going here. Get the badge on your website, help the veterans out and serve them in a way that you get recognition, you can make money doing it. It's a good thing for everybody. And one thing I want to leave everybody with before we get to your final thoughts on all this is that I love anything where everybody wins, and it's really hard to find those. And this is a win-win-win for the banker. It's a win for the for the credit union. It's a win for the veterans. It's a win for the organizations like yours that, man, guys, they're trying their ass off to help, but it's so complicated to figure everything out. General Lepper here has sit and watched for 100 years all of these problems and then found solutions to every one of these problems. And I mean, this is all part of the AFA network. I mean, there's so many things that they're involved with. And now we can expand this down to the every bank level. Now, you want to get pissed off? There's more credit unions in the program than there are banks. When I found that out, my jaw hit the ground. I said, we're getting him on this program. Now we're going to go out here and compete with these guys and whip their ass. I'll guarantee you we will. The bankers out there in these communities, they love serving the community, and everybody is part of the veteran community.
Well said. General Lepper, I can't think of a better compliment than that. I want to give you a couple of minutes for final thoughts, and I want to echo what he said. You've served your community better than any community bank could hope to. And that was not with a background as a banker, right? And think about all you've accomplished with the banking programs that you built. It's incredible. I think it's incredibly inspiring to, those of us that don't feel like, necessarily banking experts just here, right? Wow, what you were able to go and accomplish and problem solve is awesome. It's inspiring to everybody. But I want to give you a couple minutes, man. Give us the final thoughts.
Okay, well, two final thoughts, Dave. Just piggybacking on your comment about more credit unions than banks on the program, you're absolutely right. And I gotta tip my hat, if I was wearing one, to the Defense Credit Union Council, our credit union counterparts. They've served the same function vis-a-vis their members as we do to our members. They're focused on the military and veteran communities, and they've done a hell of a job recruiting credit unions for this program. But the second thing I want to say is that we have not learned all there is to know about about the financial needs of the military and veteran communities. I mean, we know a lot, but our banks that are out there in the field, they interact with their veteran and military customers all the time, and we need their feedback. We want their feedback. We want to improve our programs by getting feedback from them on how we can make it better for their military and veteran customers and communities. And one example of the one of the benefits that banks can obtain by joining this program is we've talked about this program at the Washington level of the FDIC and OCC. And so they understand, and in fact referenced our program as part of the comments we filed in the Community Reinvestment Act regulation reissue recently. Okay, so if you look in the commentary, the VBBP is in there as an example of programs that banks are engaged in to help their veteran community. What we need is for banks that are part of this program to tug on the sleeve of their CRA examiner and say, hey, look, I'm a member of this VBBP program. You need to give me some credit for that, because
Right.
we are helping our veterans by being part of this program. We're helping that underbanked and unbanked veterans better manage their finances by giving them a safe place to put their money. And we engage in outreach to our veterans through this program so that we can help them with whatever other problems they may have. Man, if banks did that with their CRA examiners at the grassroots level, we might be able to get the messages to collide somewhere in the middle between Washington and the field, and that would be awesome.
This is so cool, guys. We've looked at this from one end to the other long before we invited General Lepper to sing the national anthem at our conference, the Roundup. And hey, if you want to come to the Roundup next year, he'll be there. We can talk about any of this, but I'm going to tell you what, before I wanted to ever mention this or get any banker involved in this, I wanted to make sure there was no risk. There's a great way to make money. There's a great way to serve your community that served you, and you can actually do something good. Get paid for giving back. This is a solid program through to through, all the way through. It's not a scam. This is a good thing. And it's something we can all do. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to go to bankersupandbankers.com. Let know how we can help you get this up. This is a piece of cake, y'all. It's so easy to do, and we'll help you do it. There is no charge for any of this. This is just something you can do. Here's my challenge. I want to see the bankers, next time we talk about this, that we have more community banks in this program than we do credit unions. Credit unions, let's all come together on this one. We can all serve together. And let's make a competition out of this. I want to see the credit unions up their numbers. I want to see the bankers come out in force, and let's get it on. We've got something that we can do that's good, and everyone wins. And if this is one program, I'm telling you, I wouldn't put my name behind it if I didn't believe in it. And it's all been vetted out. Everything is good. There is not a downside to any of this. Tanner, am I missing anything?
100% spot on, nailed it. And the only thing I think we did miss is to General Lepper, man. Thank you.
Yes.
Truly, thank you. You have done more good in this area than maybe anybody else has or ever has.
Ever has.
That is a hell of a statement, and I mean that. Thank you.
Well, thank you, gentlemen. It's a pleasure and a privilege to be a part of your show.
Appreciate you guys. We'll see you next time.